Ryan, do you have the number to your therapist that we could all come?
We get a BOGO going. We'll all just go. And
we'll just all go in together.
That would be. Yeah. And then that therapist retires.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it
just runs out. Like not even.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Three Girls, One Office, when we are living, laughing, and thriving. We are hitting the hard stuff. The conversations that we don't always want to talk about, we're going to put a spin on and make you smile, especially those conversations that happen after 40. We have an exciting show for you today. We are live in the Westchester studios, which is right outside of the Westchester Borough. You guys, the greatest place if you've ever thought about doing a podcast. The greatest team, creative, and so fun. Today, we have someone back by popular demand.
Yes.
And Steph is going to tell us all about him.
So nice. We had him twice. Ryan Matei is back in the studio.
Yeah.
We figured since I know Ryan really well, I know he has a wealth of knowledge. I figured we would just pick his brain on some things.
Yes.
But today we're going to kind of focus on, I know we had a mental health discussion in another episode. Mm-hmm. But today we're going to talk about kind of the differences of men's mental health and like how they deal with things versus women. You know, men tend to suffer in silence, whereas women, we like to talk all about it.
So, do we though?
Jen and I do not.
No.
I just was like, I just kind of like, I mean, I find it interesting, and I don't know if your spouses are like this or your, brothers or brother-in-law, but like, and even our dad, I feel like, men in general, when they're depressed, anxious, or have something going on, I always feel like it's in there and they let it build up and then they explode. Ryan, Dee might relate more to the men's side, I guess. Or is that?
I do the exact thing like that. Like I just push it down and then I like break a nail and then I just lose my shit. But I don't know. I feel like with men though, it's like I feel like men are conditioned from small, like little kids to just like be tough and like.
Sure.
Do you
feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't want to be called certain names when you're a kid or whatever, the case may be. So you probably are, but I think, it's definitely not healthy. I mean, I have more friends than not that are in, therapy or whatever, and they're like, it's the greatest thing I've ever done, And it's probably because they're talking to someone that's not going to, have a judgment or they don't care,
They probably wish they'd done it
They don't know the
sooner.
person to care what their judgment is, So, and I can attest to having gone through it myself and can continue to, if I needed to, I would definitely not hesitate. I think it's important.
I agree.
So I think, as you get older and wiser, it's a little bit better, but,
I certainly appreciate when my husband throws out like some heavy information like 38 seconds before we're about to go to sleep. Like, we have no money, we're going to lose everything, and good night.
Yeah.
And he's snoring next to me, and now I am up like a lunatic for the next 6 hours. And he wakes up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I'm like, oh my God.
He's like, we'll be fine.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I was just
had to
kidding.
get off my chest.
Yeah. So, like, does Joe do that?
Yeah.
like,
Pillow talk, you said, right?
He calls it pillow talk. I've talked about this before.
I think
where he comes home and he's quiet and he's like working or whatever, and we'll chat a little bit here and there, and I'll say, how was your day? But then we like get in bed and I'm ready to just kind of relax, and then he's like, talks about something bad that happened during the day, and I'm like, why would you tell me that right now?
You're like, now I can't sleep.
Yeah, and then he goes peacefully off to sleep. Like I don't know. Maybe he wasn't ready to talk about it when he came in the house. It was still maybe fresh. I don't know, but
or do they just throw it out there like it's really no big deal? Like, hey, we're gonna lose everything and we're all gonna die, and good night. Like, is it really just like that matter of fact, or like are you guys like us and a mess inside, just not saying anything?
My wife she'll just. Well, everything will be fine. She just goes to sleep. She's the one who falls asleep because she's nonstop,
really,
constantly. Like you.
She is a lot reminds me of you. She goes.
Yeah, goes. And she just falls right to sleep, and I'm like, like at Friday nights we sit down and watch a show. She's out in 1 minute. I'm like, thanks.
That's why she doesn't binge watch a show.
She can't watch. But me, I don't. I just internalize it and think about it, and probably roll around and toss around until she says, "What's wrong?" This, And
okay, so that's.
Sleep all night.
Do you want her to say what's wrong?
Yeah.
Do you want her to say what's wrong, or do you want someone just like kind of like deal with it?
It's kind of like when you're sick and you act like we act, I will definitely say men are definitely way more dramatic when they're sick, you know.
Oh.
And you
A man
just want
cold.
to like. You want to mope and tell, are you okay? You need something? Yes, I do. I need something.
No, that's why I never
Take
ask,
care
because
of
I know
me.
the answer is yes. Like, hell no.
So-
I'm not getting you anything. Just saying.
That's how my wife is for the most part.
I
Unless
like
she's
her.
Great. Yeah. But that's when my mom comes in. So she's the one who comes in and takes care of me.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would do it for my son, and I would do it for my
Mom
husband.
is still around doing
Yeah.
all the mom things.
Aw.
She's
Yeah.
the best.
She definitely does.
Well, I also think, and I don't know if this is like in your family, it's the same way, but like growing up, my dad, like I said it a little while ago, he wouldn't really say what was wrong, but then you could tell maybe something was
Sure.
bothering him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he would, eventually he just like would hold, and I don't mean just hold it in until bed. I mean he would hold it in for a long time. And then like a month later, you do something that really bothers him. He's like, everything you've ever done wrong,
Yep.
he's gonna let you know.
Oh,
At
He
the
just
dinner
waited.
table. Steph and I
That's
bickered all
interesting.
the time.
Yeah, so we would bicker, like, it's dinner. And he was like, no, we're not doing that, Like, this is, because you come home from work, you're stressed. Do you feel like you're a little bit like that in a sense?
Yeah, I think you come in from what you want to
You
decompress.
want a little calm.
It's definitely, I think, something I learned in therapy before was, sometimes people, you both, if both parties work,
Yeah.
then you go to work, you come home, and if one's home, maybe Jess, my wife, has been home for 30 minutes
Yeah.
and whatever, and she's just ready for me to come in. She's
Yeah.
had her little time, and then talk, and then you're like,
I
give me a
need-
second
I
to
need a
like,
minute.
yeah, I need a
And
minute.
then we
So
get mad when
get
you say that
moody,
to us.
Yeah.
and then everything escalates from there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I
Yeah.
think that definitely, can.
Then you don't love us.
Yeah, my husband,
Because-
I don't know if your husband's like this. You said Joe's quiet when he comes home. Rob definitely needs a second.
Yeah.
And my kids, the minute he walks in the door, can you help me with my iPad? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? This is like everyone wants to tell Rob everything that's they need fixed. And he's like, I'm like, how about hi, Daddy? How was
Yeah.
your day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think that goes a long way.
Sure.
I don't know how is Jared like that?
He's pretty even keeled. Like he is super chill, super laid back. Like just like me.
But does he like?
Just kidding.
Does he like a little quiet time?
He does. Like here's the thing about me. Like if there's an issue in our marriage or in our life, like I want to talk about it with him when I want to talk about it. Like either I don't want to talk about it at all, or I want to like talk about it
Same.
incessantly. Where it's like he's like, please stop talking. So like that's kind of the difference. Like, do you guys? If you're feeling a certain way, like let's say you have a fight with your spouse or a friend or an issue at work, do you want to like discuss it? Because I feel like in my scenario, he doesn't want to talk about it that much. Where I'm like, what did he say? Wait, did he say that? Well, did you? And I asked like 4,000 questions in 38 seconds, and that's a problem.
I think it depends how right I think I am. Yeah.
There you
To
go.
really,
How right
know,
do you
keep
usually
going.
think you are?
But
then?
honestly, the right advice is you should wait. Because you do in the moment when something comes up, you're at each other like that,
Yeah.
and then you realize, if you've ever been in those fights where you get in a fight and you're like, wait a minute, like a half an hour later, you're like, ugh,
What was it?
why did I do
My
that?
therapist
You know what I
told
mean? Why
Rob.
did I yell at
Rob and I-
whatever the case
Sure.
may be.
We were given the advice: strike while the iron's cold, never while it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
So as much as you want to, oh my, you gotta wait.
That defeats my whole life.
Calm
How
down.
could I possibly
Strike
do
when the iron's cold.
How could I possibly
But
do
see, I
that?
think Steph gets anxiety off of it, and you're
I have
probably
to
one
deal
that
with
wants to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
worried that someone's upset with you, or like if you're
Yeah.
upset with some, like you.
And I think
can't-
I'll feel better if I can get this all figured out. I'm also like a codependent, I guess they call it. Like I want to fix everything for everyone.
Yeah.
I've been like that before I knew Rob. I would be like that with my, my brother, my parents.
Yeah.
Then Ryan started having a family. Anything I could do for them to make their
Yep.
life perfect, I was like, I'm there.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. It's not good. You're not supposed to be like this bad.
And I think
And
you
even with my
run
kids.
down sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
No.
also a
Definitely
beautiful
think you feel-
quality,
Yeah.
as much as it's a hard quality to have. It's also a very beautiful, endearing thing, too.
It's Jen. Well, Rob will say sometimes though, like he always says I'm a great mom, and I don't know. I'm curious to see what all of you think, but he says I coddle the kids a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, I think you do a little bit.
So I'm trying to not so much, but
I do too.
It's tough.
You know?
I know, but I feel like I'm worse.
Maybe.
You don't want him to hurt. I probably coddle all of you. I don't want any of you to hurt.
Yeah. Please coddle me right
hold me.
now.
Yeah.
I coddle you all the time.
Hold us.
But I was reading some like statistics on men versus women, and I was reading that like in the USA, 6 million men are diagnosed depressed, which means if they're really internalizing things, think how many men are not, diagnosed, and if they're depressed to the point where they would need intervention of some sort, like that's pretty scary. Like, do you you said your friends are all though being proactive now, but like 15, 20 years ago, was everyone kind of just?
Yeah, I think so. I think, it's just like I can fix myself. Or man
or
up.
you can go, let's go to the bar.
That's what I have here, the man up culture.
Man up,
Or like you go out, like let's go get some beers and like watch sports.
Yeah.
And and then like I know with anxiety, they said, the article I was reading said like it ends up coming out as anger.
Good point.
Because, you're internalizing everything. And then like I was saying about our dad.
Yeah.
And Dad, we love you. We don't think you're angry or mean or anything. But I'm just saying, like, that was his personality.
Yeah.
And that seems to be typical in a lot of men. I see it in my husband. I see it in my brother. He's saying he's done it. He does it. But I think more and more, I do think men are more aware of mental health, whether they want to suppress it or not.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your husband, if he felt like he needed therapy, do you think he would do it?
Yeah.
Do you think he would just continue to suppress?
No, I think he would. Because I know he really gets worked up with, owning and running a business and things like that. And sometimes he'll be like, oh, it's just like, I just feel like everything is hard right now.
Yeah.
And I think if it got to the point that he needed to speak to somebody, I think he would do it willingly.
Yeah.
I just think, again, I think mental health is so largely talked about now, and I feel like more people are open to it.
I find women to be more talkers about it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think like with my literally like our mental health be like, let's go out for drinks, have a cocktail, have an appetizer, and like that's therapy to us. And we'll talk about everything and anything. And then like my husband will go out with his buddies, and he'll come home after like 4 hours out, and I'll be like, so what they saying? He'll be like, nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
right.
what?
Like, yeah.
What you talking about? Oh, no, I don't know. We didn't really talk about
Like, are you
anything.
having deep discussions?
No, I was actually thinking about that when you were talking before about stuff, and I think you have your certain friends that you do. You start having a couple beers, and next thing you know, you're opening up to those guys, and I think you have your friends that are just your buddies you watch sports with, and everybody has their outlet of whatever that is. But when you're struggling, whatever it is, your friends you're going to call and talk to.
I mean,
so true.
I probably have texted all three of you this week about my issues. Like, I'm having an issue. I'm going to, I text Rob when I'm having an issue. I have the people, a lot of times, and I hate to always use text, but I'm not going to call people at work and be like,
no.
So it's kind of an easy way to be like, just to get it out.
Yeah.
I'm having a moment. And
let somebody else give you another perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure in our production meeting, was it Wednesday, where I cried? I'm sure that my husband isn't going to meetings and crying to his coworkers like I did with you guys.
No, but sometimes you just have to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a question. Like, do you sometimes just have to cry? Like, or guys, what do you think?
I might have watched the movie Nona's the other day and shed a tear.
What movie? What movie?
The Nona with
Nona's?
Vince Vaughn. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Really
I heard
good.
it's so good. My mom said it's
Yeah.
great too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like happy tears or sad tears?
Yeah, it was like,
Feel good
you'd
movie?
I don't want to give it away.
All right.
It's definitely
yeah.
a feel-good movie.
We should
It's
watch it,
definitely a
though.
feel-good
Okay.
movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, you think Vince Vaughn, not to steer off this, but you think he's like just funny.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't. So I think in the beginning you're like, well,
Where's
where's the funny
it?
and what's going on?
Yeah.
But it does. It's really good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all can appreciate a good Nona.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
This crew right here.
I have a question for you though, because I think a lot of our stresses and stuff and issues come from our children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know you, like you said, you have a business,
Yeah.
and I have friends who own businesses too, and it's like you have a lot of people's livelihoods in your hands.
Yeah.
And you just were talking about your husband. Is that like probably his biggest stress? Because I mean, it's not only him that you guys support. Like he would probably not even care about making make your mortgage payments first, then his employees, you
Yeah.
know, have families and kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He seems very caring.
And that's probably a big stress, I would assume.
When we're in a slow season, and the phone's not ringing, and you know you're cold calling, and no one that's hard.
Yeah.
Because then you have our guys who are essentially sitting around like,
Right.
Sure.
now what do we, you know, and thankfully it's not often, but he's so committed to his people,
Right.
you know, and wanting wanting them to, you know, one of our guys just bought a house, and you know, Joe was able to help him do that, you know, by helping him, like coaching him and mentoring him and stuff, and like, you don't want to lose your good people because you can't afford to pay them, or you know.
Right.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Right.
That is really hard because again, it's not just us. It is
You're stressing
them
for other
and their
people.
wives and their babies. Like they have young families.
Yeah, you guys stress for other people.
Totally.
Do you think he like thinks about it a lot more than he talks to you
Oh, I'm
about,
sure.
or do you think he verbalizes it?
He probably is thinking about it 24/7. Yeah. No. Yeah. There's no doubt
Oh, Joe.
in my mind that he's thinking about it.
What a
Ryan,
good
do you
boss.
have the number to your therapist that we could all come?
We get a BOGO going. We'll all just go and
We'll just all go in together.
Yeah.
That would be.
yeah. And then that therapist retires.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen enough.
Just runs out. Like not even.
done.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't make it any better, you know, for him. And I'm like, let's buy a house.
Yeah.
Let's, you know,
Yeah.
go do so. You know,
I'll send Dee a house. She's like, send it to Joe. I'm like,
I'm like, send it to Joe Bosi. The one time you did though, 'cause he was like, your girlfriend sent me a
yeah.
house.
I'm like, did he
good.
not expect me to send? Like, I was like, I'm not getting involved. So you guys are telling me.
no, he doesn't care. No, so we worry about our team like we would worry about our
Yeah.
kids. You know, for
Yeah.
sure.
Kids are stress inducing for sure.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It does.
I can't imagine being stressed and coming home from work and then there are kids that need me. Like, please go away.
The interesting thing about how just like with the kid scenario and how my husband handles stuff and how I do, it's so different. Like, and that's actually something I think we should touch on, because like when something happens with my child, maybe it's like simple, like they had a fight with a friend or they're crying because they were left out or whatever it is. Like that gives me such anxiety, and I start to feel for
it.
you know, like in ways
You
that,
almost
like,
feel worse than they actually.
absolutely, and then I'm like a lunatic in my head and thinking like, oh my god, and they're never gonna have another friend in 20 years, like they're gonna be alone for the rest of. Where like my husband will be like, just let it play out, it's fine, it happens, and then I like personally want to kill him, like I want him to stress with me for a minute.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that he talks me off the ledge. Do you see that kind of scenario? Like, do you find those types of kind of everyday kind of growing up type of stuff that our kids endure? Does that stress you out the way it would your wife?
Oh yeah, it stresses me out.
Yeah.
I mean, our kids just stress me out big time.
Yeah.
Like you said, you feel everything.
Every
you know,
ounce.
Well,
and it's
because you
like-
love them like
Yeah.
outside your it's your
Sure.
And even when things are really good, you still like wonder like how are you so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good? Can't be. You know. What
Plus,
I mean?
you have
Like-
boys, so here we are talking about how
Yeah.
men internalize things, and
Yeah.
you're raising
Yeah.
young
Yeah,
men,
I mean, in
and you
this
have
area,
you have an age range with your kids, so you're kind of in it in different
But
parts.
I think definitely like the COVID high school kids.
Oh, yeah, I
mean,
know it,
I think
yeah.
that's a big deal. I think it's affecting them in many ways.
still
you
to
know?
this day.
I think like how we grew up. I know it's funny to say this because I still feel young, but I'm
I
not.
do too.
But like we grew up. Like I think you guys had a show. You were talking about this. You would go out. Outside
Yeah,
a lot.
in the
What'd
street,
call
you
when
play with the
knocked on
neighborhood.
door?
Knock,
Yeah.
knock
Door
up.
knock.
I would
Knock
knock
up.
up for
Knock up.
somebody.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
would go out all day. Like
Yeah,
they'll
they don't.
be no. It's like if they're not completely entertained with something great, they want to be home. At least
Yeah.
my kids. You know?
Yeah.
And
Same
I
with
see that
mine.
a lot of them. You know, and it's like we would like just get in the car and drive somewhere.
Oh, we
you
knew,
know?
we
that
knew,
never-
and
yeah.
we knew
Sit
where to
in
meet
the Wawa
people.
parking lot. It was
Yeah.
better than being home.
Painter's
you
Crossing
know?
was built,
Yeah.
and we were like the friendlies there. We knew if we couldn't find anyone, you go there. And then when we were in high school, our high school was a little further out. We would, Land Hope. You knew the certain spots where you might find people.
Yeah.
And then you go from there because
So different.
no cell phone was like.
So different.
So then
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
are like, your kids are coming to you and they're like, I'm sad because XYZ, and then they probably go on about their day and they forget about it.
And we're
Yeah.
still
Did you say this?
dwelling.
And then like you guys are still like, oh my God, no one's
No,
listening.
I totally screw them up where I'm like, so what happened? Tell me
We're
that.
dwelling.
And they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, please. All I said was that I had a bad day. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
And then my husband, like I said, he'll handle it different. Be like, just let it be. It's fine. It'll be done in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
ask a ton of questions?
Yeah, I do, and then but then if I don't, I'm not.
You can't
It's
win.
a never winning question.
Okay.
That's what I
Yeah,
said,
I-
Ryan. You probably
boys are
can't win.
different.
I
Like,
can't
Yeah.
win either.
each
But I
one
try.
of mine are. I mean, I have a 7-year-old
Yeah.
who's completely different, but like you know,
yeah.
my middle and my older are just different. You
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
it's great. I love that they're different. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely think that their upbringing is just so different. you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, they were
For
in that,
sure.
and they
Yeah.
definitely were like in the thick of COVID when, because high school, middle school, that's like the year, like
Of
very
course.
social time,
Mhm.
and to have all that kind of taken away from you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's rough. You
And they
know,
weren't prepared to go. Like, that's the thing. Like,
They're going off to college
Like, go
and
right to
then-
college. Oh, we have to
or
go to
school.
college. You know, that's
Yeah.
the thing. You have to go to college, and they did. But that COVID time was like
Yep.
they didn't have to do schoolwork. I mean, really,
Yeah.
technically,
Yeah.
you know, they
To
did,
all of a
but it
sudden
was
have
on
to
a
be
different
on a
level
path.
of doing it.
You're right. You're
And I
right.
think it threw a lot of them for a loop, and that's
Yeah.
why you see a lot of kids going to school close to home or coming home not finishing. You know,
yeah.
and it's hard
Yep.
to make that decision.
And you also, like you don't have that time in high school. I feel like in high school they're starting to show you different options for your life past high school, and because that chance wasn't given, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
so like everyone's like, I guess I'll just go to college or whatever, and then they're miserable.
And they got accepted at every college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's
It
such a
was
good
awesome.
point.
Like, I don't think SATs, and I didn't
No
have to-
SATs.
I didn't earn these grades.
There
you know,
were no
but-
SATs
No
during
SATs.
COVID.
No.
And
no.
they got
It was
like
a whole
A's on
world.
everything.
You could
Yeah.
if you wanted to.
Yeah. Like,
I have no idea. That was something. Yeah.
I had no idea. That I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Interesting though how it's changed, and like I think too the way we were brought up, you were outside playing and you
Yeah.
were communicating like face to face. Where now, like I mean, they are behind those screens,
Yeah.
and that's how they communicate on Snapchat and then
Yeah.
or
we had
text.
to pick up the phone and get past the dad.
Oh man.
You had to take that cord all
Yeah.
the way into
Yeah.
the room. But it's interesting. I wonder if that'll affect a lot going forward with how, as we're talking about how men handle situations and women, because it's just if it'll change anything.
Yeah.
Just the way.
And then you have to think too, like Ryan. I mean, my youngest is 10. Ryan's is 7. Yours is 12 or 13 now.
Yeah.
I mean, but you got to think by the time they're in their 20s, like, I mean, the world just continuously changes. Are they even going to be social, or is it just going to be?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
don't
who
say
knows?
that.
No, I know. So I'm saying, I hope it's kind of goes full circle in the sense like, you know, we can show they learn from their mistakes, or we can show them the way or whatever. And I'm not saying our way of growing up was better, but there are some things that I think
Yeah.
were good. I
Well,
look
sure.
back,
Just
I'm like,
that face to face.
it was kind of like a talk, and actually having to talk on a phone.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the way men handle things, and women. Like in my relationship, like he's not a talker. I want to talk. Or like now they text the talk. Like I don't even know how it works. Like do men feel more comfortable texting how they feel versus saying it? Like,
I do.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but
me
then
too.
then they could take a girl, or if it was a fight, they could take a picture of it, send it to their friends. So it's like maybe that's why they're internalizing so.
You know
much.
what?
They'd been better to pick up the phone and.
I'm having anxiety
Oh
during
my
this
gosh.
entire
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I have a question then. So you all have boys.
Yes.
So how do you do you talk to them about expressing their feelings, like how they can express their feelings? Or because I don't remember and this isn't a dig at my parents at all, but like I don't remember somebody sitting me down and saying like, it's okay
To talk
when you're
about
sad
your
to cry.
feelings.
Like I just threw a fit and that was it. But like no, I don't know.
It just came natural to you.
I just, yeah, and you know,
I don't know.
like
if
do you
I
guys like have you ever sat them down and said like it's okay to feel sad or angry or whatever, or like how do you
I do. I mean, my youngest is still young enough where he wears his feelings on his sleeve. Like I can get him to talk. My oldest, it's like,
yeah
come on, talk to me. And my husband isn't much of a talker either. but he would certainly talk to my kids if they wanted to talk, but he's not going to force it.
Yeah.
I work on my oldest because I really do want him to feel like he can come to me and talk to me. And Ryan's older kids, I always said to them, like, if there's something you're not comfortable telling your parents, you can come to me. I always want to put myself out there as someone that I won't judge, like, come to me.
Safe space.
And it's, I mean, the younger ones still, I mean, I love up on our youngest, both of them. They're like, but they're just young. They still tell us their feelings. It's the older ones that's like,
I get it.
I don't know.
What
Is
about
your
with
son?
yours?
Yeah.
My son's very quiet. He isn't much of a talker. Just he's very reserved. And I definitely ask a bunch of questions, and I'll be like, "How was your day? Fine. Anything happen? No." You know what I mean? Like, you get one-word answers. I mean, I try as best I can. I feel like I can read him a little bit and think, like, when something is wrong or when I can read. I feel like my kids may have a different story, but I feel like I know the signs of when I need to take a step back and not, push too hard to make them talk. My girls, I can get them to talk all day long. Like, they'll talk, but my son's a little bit of a different scenario. How about you?
Do you have any luck with your old kids?
My middle son, nothing. he says, he's like, nothing's bothering me. Like, how?
He told me he doesn't hold grudges. He's like,
he's just really like, I was waiting one day for like, I don't know, but he's just real even chill. He's like, I don't have any problems. Like, it must be nice, you know.
Yeah. But it's also good that he appreciates.
Yeah, he
and
does,
I do
for the
believe that
most
he
part.
truly
He's
appreciates.
A little entitled, but
I do believe like when I talk to
knows
him, he seems like a happy. You know.
That's all you really want.
But but one day maybe he'll break.
He wears it on his he wears it on his sleeve like something's wrong with him.
Sure.
Wrong.
Yeah, he's not putting on a happy
and then
face.
usually he'll get upset and he'll let it all out on you, and you're like, whoa, like I didn't know that you were feeling that way.
Right.
And then you just step back. And
He's just like his grandfather.
I know.
Sorry, Dad.
But
Sorry,
but
Dad.
again, look at what these kids think.
What they've
they
been
think
through.
Instagram. Is,
Yes.
I know this is everybody talks about it, but like it's true. Like it's like they think that all this great stuff is all these people their age are just life is just so easy for them, and
Sure.
It's a shame that they have to feel that way,
So, like, what do you think, Ryan? Like, what's one thing, an easy thing? Do you have advice for anyone? Like, what's an easy thing you do that kind of helps you unwind, or if you're feeling a certain way, like, because you're not necessarily, you are internalizing some things probably because that's just what we're finding out. Men do that. But is there something that helps you kind of calm down, like waiting a couple days,
waiting,
and just knowing that things could get better?
I mean, you guys all work out, but like, have you ever felt like if you like didn't, anxiety, I don't sleep great sometimes. So, but when I get up, I go to the early class, but I feel really much better after that.
Right.
So probably get yourself in that zone before you have something that you have to talk to someone about that might be, escalate or be an
I
issue.
feel like you just time shamed us. I go to the early class.
By the way,
I'm not.
I'm just kidding. I'm
I'll
kidding.
get when they turn the lights
We'll
on.
give you $100.
Oh, you guys go at night?
Yeah. 5:30 crew. What's up?
Yeah. Shout out to
person. I was
Peyton.
gonna say $100 to the first person who can guess what gym.
I just got.
I mean,
I'll take that 100. I'll take it.
Shocker.
We're all in the cult.
Yeah.
We love it.
But you do. I mean, after you.
The endorphins. And it's just
100%.
it kind of just. I agree because like even on days, and I know I've texted both of them like days. I'm like I don't think I can go today. They're like go. Yesterday I think Dee was like.
Yeah.
And the weather's been so and I was like go, and she sometimes you just need a friend to say I'll meet you there or I'll go.
She went, but she danced the entire class.
well,
I witnessed it. We both did. I'm not gonna lie. We were moving.
My heart rate was up.
So is there
just a way to get that energy out?
So is there hope for men, Rye? Like, I mean, do you think men are coming around to like getting help, or is this just the way we're built?
I think
are we built
for
different?
sure. I think it's a lot of your significant other can really help you to push that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we need a third party here maybe sometimes, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like mental health, and again I keep bringing this up with like youngest, my children is always a worry for me.
Sure.
So, I mean I think so. I think guys
I do too.
act tough a lot ordinarily not, you know. I mean, like I said, you can see when we're sick, we're not that tough. You know, I mean, I really feel that way.
I mean, I think you're pretty tough.
I want to talk to your wife. I want to know what goes on when you have a cold. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I'll find out all
or
the
it's
details.
just on Sundays. That's true.
Yeah.
A couple beverages.
I get it.
Sundays are for
I
rest.
have no bounce back anymore.
I love it.
Well, Fry, we hit you last time you came to visit us. We did hit you with some quick questions.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of would like to ask him a couple more.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
do it.
Just some random stuff.
Okay.
But and we asked Jen Smith came in. We asked her some of the same questions we're asking you. So, but you haven't heard her episode yet, so you won't.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's see. Dream vacation spot. If anywhere in the world, money's not an issue. Anywhere.
Probably like Bora Bora, one of those huts in the middle of
Good
the
one.
ocean would be pretty cool.
I'm
Or
in.
like somewhere in the Mediterranean, you know.
I hope that's a family trip. We're all
Yeah.
and we can bring our friends.
I hope it's a family
yeah.
and friends
Yeah,
trip.
there you go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
When you guys hit it big, you're
Let's get a charter flight.
We'll go on the Simmons jet.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll charter the jet.
I love it. Yeah.
Matt, pressure's on.
Yeah.
What you got?
Is Steph the best sister in the entire world?
she's a great sister. She
of
would
course
be
she
there
is.
for you in a minute.
I know
we
it.
agree.
If she answered her phone when I called, but
I
she
know.
text her or send a Facebook message, you'll get it.
I call you right back.
Interesting.
She does call me right back.
Oh, we hit a nerve. Here we go.
Although the other day, Steph, she called me. I was actually watching our episode of last week, but I didn't, and my phone was on Do Not Disturb, and she was calling. I had no idea. And then all of a sudden I get a text, and it's like, call me. And I was like, oh my God, someone's
Because
dead.
like we don't talk on the phone, right?
And then I call her. She's like, hi, I'm on my way to work. I'm like, what?
I can't talk. I
What do you
couldn't
need?
text
Why
her.
are you calling me?
We should know better than to say to D, call me. She
know,
doesn't
but-
like that. Or you don't call her either.
Well, I knew she would know. I had to talk to her.
Yeah.
I love it.
Uh-huh.
You have anything?
Biggest irrational fear.
Irrational fear. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Like my biggest irrational fear is all my teeth falling out at one time.
Oh.
Like, do you have any of these little, like,
eat my
quirky
shark
little-
without question.
Whole body?
I won't
Just-
go into the ocean like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm deathly afraid of shark.
Ooh.
That's favorite band. Favorite band of all
That's
time.
an
Well,
interesting fear.
or-
I'm gonna go see them in a week. Metallica. is
Whoa.
probably-
Oh my goodness. Would
Yeah.
never have guessed that.
No.
Honest to God.
Like pound for pound, they are, but it's not everyday music. That
Okay,
you listen
okay,
to, you know?
okay.
Ryan and I definitely were rocking like the hip hop on the way to school every day, for sure.
definitely.
But,
NWA was pretty big for me.
and
yeah,
obviously the
rap,
BC
but, like,
Boys
yeah.
were on,
Yeah.
on a rotation.
Oh my
Regular.
goodness. Wow.
Anything
So
else,
good.
girls?
That's all I had.
All right.
Ryan,
Thank you,
might-
guys.
who knows? Maybe you'll come back for a third time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
3 girls, 1 office, and
Really
1 brother.
cool.
Yes.
All right.
We appreciate you coming in, giving
Thank
us
you
the
guys.
male
It was awesome.
perspective,
Appreciate
and we will talk to everyone soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.